Hello, everyone. This is Brian here. People are still logging on, so if I just give it maybe 1 more minute and we'll start it off at 1:01, if that's okay. Okay, so let's get going. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Bundledocs webinar, hosted with our colleagues in Quill. For those who don't know me, my name is Brian Keneally. I'm the CEO of Bundledocs. And for those who don't know who the company is, we're based in Cork, which is in the south of Ireland. In terms of usability in the UK, we'd be in somewhere like maybe 1,000 plus legal firms use Bundledocs in various guises. So that's the idea. Today's webinar, really what it's all about is just showing how easy it is to comply with the latest electronic bundling court guidelines, which have changed quite recently using Bundledocs. So that's really what it's about today. Now, our time is limited. We've set it for 30 minutes. So what I might do is I'll just kick straight into it. We are recording the session. If anybody wants follow-up information, just contact info@bundledocs.com. So what I might do to begin is start at the output, just to show you what it is we produce when you produce an electronic bundle. Like the default for an electronic bundle is a PDF document. Now, there are exceptions to that where you have multimedia files and you have Excel sheets. We can also produce bundles with those types of documents. And again, slightly out of scope here, but just come back to us if anybody needs any information on that. If you look at the bundle that I produced here, the output, it's just a PDF, but there are certain factors that make it an electronic bundle as opposed to just a standard PDF document. The first thing to note is that we tend to customize our index. So you customize it in the style that you're accustomed to for your family court, for whatever court you're dealing with. So you can customize it in any way. And we use Microsoft Word for this, so you can have any style you want. The second thing the product does, it automatically indexes, so you can produce any style of index. And again, you will have some style to make it look good, is probably the best way to put it. The third thing to note is pagination. Again, pagination, you can have different styles of pagination, but whatever you require, it's automatically done. If you look at the pagination style here, we're restarting page numbering for each new section. Traditionally in family, if you remember family, you would have a kind of style like this where you have A1, B1 for each new section number. This is the typical for dispute resolution. Or the latest thing with family is something where you also apply numbers to your custom index and to everything else like that. So you can have different styles of numbering, and we'll show you how it does it, and it does it automatically. Each item on the index must be a hyperlink to the actual document it's referring to. So if I click on any line item here, you click on it, it brings you directly to the document. That's important. So it must be hyperlinked. The other thing it must do is searchability. When you upload documents into Bundledocs, whether it's coming from Quill or from any source, the documents are OCR'd, they're converted into searchable text, and therefore when you send out a bundle to anybody or produce your own electronic bundle, it's completely searchable. On the left-hand side, everything is automatically bookmarked. And again, bookmarking is automatic. You can see my main index is bookmarked and my subsequent sub-indexes are also bookmarked. So if I go down to something like the correspondence section or the engineer's reports, the sub-index opens up. But if I expand out here, you'll see the documents within that sub-index are there as well. And these are hyperlinks. Now, again, in terms of court requirements, you may be required to put a page number on it or a date. You can customize these bookmarks. But these bookmarks are essentially also hyperlinks. So if I click on any of these items, they'll bring me directly to the document. The other thing to note, I'll explain it, is a thing called optimization. Courts are requesting that you shouldn't lodge electronic bundles with what's known as a DPI rating of over 300. So if you have high resolution documents that you may have scanned in or whatever, with Bundledocs, if you select optimize, you can reduce the resolution to 300 dpi. The net effect of the bundle that you're producing is that the courts or whoever, when they're navigating, it makes it way, way faster. So in effect, what we're going to produce today really quickly and easily is we'll customize, we'll index, we'll paginate, we'll make sure it's hyperlinked, it must be searchable, and it should be bookmarked automatically. So that's what we'll do. How we do it is we go to bundledocs.com. Now, it's a cloud-based product. You in the UK will host your data in the UK. We use Microsoft Windows Azure, which means you could host your data in London, in the data center in London, and replicate it in Cardiff and Wales in the Microsoft Azure data centers. You do have to sign in. We're independent of the browser you use. We're also independent of the device you use, but you do have to sign in. And to save myself about a second, I have a tab open and I'll sign in. Now, the idea is that you as a user, you sign into Bundledocs, and when you sign into your home page. Now, the first thing to note is that if you have a multi-user license with Bundledocs, you can collaborate or share internally with people. And how we do it is we create teams. So we use a security model known as pessimistic security. Pessimistic security means that if I create a bundle in Bundledocs, no one in the world or even in the practice gets to see it unless I decide to share. So how we share or collaborate internally is we create teams, and team members can share bundles. So these are bundles I have either created or somebody else has created and has granted me access. Now, we can also share or collaborate with external parties like council, courts, or whatever, but you'll do it on a case-by-case basis, and I might quickly touch on that at the end if we have time. Now, so as I say, these are bundles either I have created or somebody else in my team has created and granted me access. And down below the line, we have a thing called templates. Now, the idea behind templating is that you can pre-set up the styles of index and types of work you're going to do, so that when a user creates a new bundle, they'll base it from a template. Now, I did this the other day. I created a new guideline template. Just to give you some examples, if I edit the template itself under advanced, I can set rules with these templates. You know, I could say, oh, show a date column. Other small things I can do, if I look here, oh yeah, my zoom level. One of the things the courts are requiring that when they open a PDF, that the zoom level should be at 100%, so I can set that. I can do a thing called source orientation. I'd say if I upload documents into Bundledocs, and if they're set at landscape or they're set at portrait, leave them alone in the orientation they're at, so don't interfere with orientation. I'm also saying, oh yeah, OC all the documents automatically as you upload them. So I can set these rules to these templates, but we'll come back to templating later. So back to the top, just to explain where we came from. We looked at our civil codes and we looked at how the bundling process was done on a manual basis, and we broke down the process into kind of distinct steps. And it was a 5-step process we identified, and step 5 in that process was printing. That's the last thing you ever did. So with Bundledocs, as users, you will also use a 5-step process to produce a bundle. Now, there are different 5 steps, but it is a 5-step process. So what I'm going to do is quickly run through these 5 steps as an overview. And again, most importantly, don't be afraid to contact us later if you need a refresher, if you need someone to train you or whatever, or you want to talk to us about it. But I'm going to quickly go through this 5-step process. So step 1 in these 5 steps is I need to create one of these workspaces. I'll do new bundle here. Now, typically, we'll give it a client matter code and we'll describe the case. Woods is taking on the trees. That's my usual one. So Woods is taking on the trees. I click create. And what happens is I've created the workspace, step 1. When you create the workspace, it appears top of your list. If there's other members that I work with or in my team, they now have access to it as well, and we can work on that case together if needs be. So we can collaborate internally immediately. So that's step 1 of the 5 steps. I click to go into it. Now, when I go into a workspace that I've created, not using a template, then when I go into it, I expect nothing. So there is, in fact, nothing inside there. So what I have is I have 5 buttons, or I have 6 buttons, of which I'll use the 4 to the left-hand side. So this is step 2, step 3, step 4, and step 5. So the user now knows they must work from left to right to produce these bundles. In terms of usability, if you hover over anything, it'll tell you what it does anyway, but I'm going to run through each of these anyway. So the first thing I might do is rename this folder, and let's call it a pleadings folder. So step 2, this guy here allows me to create these folders as sections. I click this guy, and again, because it's a cloud-based product, there's 0 limits to this. So pleadings, correspondence, reports, whatever, there's no problem. So step 2 was all about folder creation. Step 3 is all about uploading documents. Now I'm going to upload documents from 2 sources today because I want to show you how it integrates with Quill. But before I show you how it integrates with Quill, I want to show you how you can upload documents anyway from any source. So you get an understanding of the product, and then I'll show you how easy it is to take documents from something like a Quill, a cloud-based application. So I'll say into my pleadings folder, I'm going to grab a bunch of documents that I have on network drive. I grab these guys, I say upload these into Bundledocs. Now, When we upload documents into Bundledocs, we do two things. We upload the original document and store it, and then we convert each in turn to PDF. So by the time these guys have been uploaded, they're all converted to PDF format now. We do keep the original icon, but they are all PDFs now. We know that was an MSG, that was a Word document. They are PDFs now. Just to explain the reasoning behind storing the original document goes back to commercial lawyers creating things like deal Bibles, where they might want to produce, say, their deal Bible and keep the documents in native format. Nowadays, since COVID, some family courts or some courts will ask, if you're uploading things like complex Excel sheets, they don't want you to convert those Excel sheets into Adobe. They want you to leave them alone in native format. So the idea would be, I don't know, if you clicked, let's say this document, I know this is a letter, but if you clicked on it and it was an Excel sheet, it would actually open up an Excel. So you have that ability to do that as well. Now, obviously, things like multimedia files, it won't convert because it knows they're multimedia files, but we can still produce bundles with these files. But on the whole, these are PDFs. If I click this button here, it means I can preview the document, I can read it. Now, if I was on a wide screen, I'd have a little button here, and it would snap into place, and as a fee earner, I can step forward and backwards through the various documents to preview them. So I can always go forwards and backwards here. If I upload emails, and if those emails have attachments, you see the email is uploaded. The attached documents are also uploaded. Now, the attached document will always be a subset of the email unless I pull it away from it. So you can see 1.3, 1.3.1. A few things to note on emails. If you upload emails with threads of correspondence, which is quite common with emails, you've different options. You could say, with this email, I want to break down those threads into separate emails, and it'll do that for you. Or with this email, I want to remove all correspondence by the last email, and it'll do that for you as well. So you can do a lot with emails. If something's in the wrong place, you drag it, you drop it, you let it go. So I could take the notes of trial. Now, when I'm dragging and dropping, you can see a space opens up really quickly and easily, and I could just drop it there, and I could take that defense document and drop it down here. And you'll also notice that once you start dragging and dropping, the numbering goes out of kilter. If I click save, it re-indexes automatically. So just be aware of that. So indexation, pagination is automatic. I could drag that defense document down here. You can see 1.9. I click save, it becomes 2.1. Or I could grab a whole bunch of documents. So just be aware, I could say, these guys could follow down there. I click save, they re-index. Be aware, you can move stuff in bulk. It's really easy. If you want to rename any document, you simply type in what you want to call it, like I've done here. You could save it. But what I can also do, and this is important, is I can manipulate. If I preview a document, top left up here, I get a thumbnail view. Now, the idea of a thumbnail view is I can select any page and read it. But if I double click a page or pages, I've selected those pages because I want to do something with the pages I've selected. I've only selected one. The most common one is rotation, changing from landscape to portrait, portrait to landscape, or I may have scanned the document in upside down. I can flick the whole thing around. If I drag this page over here and select reorder, it places that page in the middle of this set. If I select delete, it'll delete those selected pages. If I select split, it will split this PDF out into multiple PDFs. This could be a letter enclosing a document, or somebody may have sent you a PDF containing lots of documents. We can extract those. Deskew goes back to the days when you scanned in images and they were leaning left and leaning right. To deskew a document or deskew a page squares it up. So just be aware you can manipulate as well, because remember you're in preparation mode. One other item I'll touch on before I generate for the first time, if I click home, if I edit the case in question, if I go to advanced, and as a setting, I should have set this to yes, show document date and screen. I'll update, I'll go back in. Now, all it's going to do is display a date column. Now, the date it's displaying is the last edit date of your document. If it's an email, it's different. It's the sent or the received date of an email. And it's date and time in seconds. Now, the importance of the date is if the date is incorrect, it's really easy to change it. You just simply change it. More important with dates and lists are these buttons over here. This guy here on the left allows me to order my correspondence chronologically. So I can do oldest to newest, or I can do newest to oldest. And on the right-hand side, I can do it alphabetically, A to Z or Z to A. So it's really quick and easy. You fire up your documents, you order them, you click save, and the whole thing is done in seconds. So just in summary, where we've gone so far, step 1, we create our workspace. Step 2, we create our folders. Step 3, we upload our documents. Step 4, we're going to generate a bundle. Now, when we generate a bundle, there's lots and lots of options, and I just want to generate one first. So I'm going to ignore all my options, and we'll come back to options later. So call it version 1 and simply click generate. Because Bundledocs is a cloud-based product, there's no limit in the size of the bundle you're producing. You don't have to wait for it, but the system is fast. If you don't want to wait for it, you can simply log out of Bundledocs. If you've logged out, the process continues anyway. When the process completes, it checks you're logged in. If you're logged in like I am now, it opens up in front of you. However, if you've logged out, you simply receive an email. So the idea is you don't have to wait for it. Now, we can remove our cover page or we can upload a cover page, and you'll see it's produced an index. Now, this index is what's known as the default index. This is the index we produce if we don't customize our index. So if you notice here, like this is a customized index, it looks infinitely better. There's an index that we haven't customized. We've consecutive numbering, everything's hyperlinked and bookmarked. No, it is fine, it is an index, but it doesn't look great. There's my section A pleadings index, and it's paginated. I go down to my first document, and you can see my page number is superimposed here. Now, an important thing to note on page numbering, we use digital numbering. The idea behind digital numbering is that if you produce a bundle in a particular style or format, let's say I produce a bundle like this, and I want to go to page 8, or the judge does, and they type in page B8 here. Oh, B8. If you click return, it lands on B8. So the idea, a digital number is a number that's burned onto the document and you can search by it. That's really important. If that wasn't a digital number and I typed in B8 here, we wouldn't be able to find the page. It just couldn't do it. So be aware of that. You can see pagination, page 1, page 2, page 3. I go back to the top, and that's fine. Now, the real advantage is the simplicity in terms of making changes. So as an example, if I create another folder, we'll call it, say, a reports folder. So section 3 could be reports, and I'm going to say I'm going to upload documents. Now this time I'm going to go to Quill, because remember, Quill is a cloud-based product, a bit like Bundledocs. So you'll see it here. I click on Quill. Now I'd obviously have to log in. Now the only, just to be clear on this, I don't use Quill, so I have a test matter. I click on it, so I can type in if I know what the matter number is or the description, it'll find it. I can go into correspondence, or I can go into documents. It'll display the list. Now, that documents, if I want all these documents to be converted into Bundledocs or copied over, I'd select all, and you can see all 100. Or I can start filtering a number. I can see the number 146. If you start filtering or whatever, it'll find the documents quickly and easily. Or I could select a few documents at random. I could say, select these 4. And I simply say, OK. So the integration between Quill and Bundledocs is automatic because it's a cloud-to-cloud based product. So therefore, you select the documents you want and they simply upload, and it's as easy as that. So you can see the documents are now all uploaded. I click save, and now I can click generate again. Now this time, I'll make a few subtle changes. I'll call it version 2. Now we don't tend to use global title pages because we customize our index. Now, I cheated a small bit earlier. I've a ready-made customized index ready. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to check this into this case. And again, we'll assist you in this. So I'm going to say, check this into the woods versus trees case. So now I'm customizing my index. And as that uploads, I'll move back to Bundledocs. So this is my custom index. Watermarking, if I was going to send this to any of you as a draft copy or whatever, I would apply watermarking automatically. I wouldn't send it out without it being watermarked. Annotations, we can come back to later, but I'll skip straight down to page numbering. Page numbering is a big one. Most of the family courts are now insisting that you apply a page number to every single document in your booklet, regardless of whatever it is, whether it's cover pages, tab pages, you can do that. Traditionally with family, you would have restarted page numbering and you would have prefixed the page number with a section letter, so A1, B1, C1. Dispute lawyers tend to just restart page numbering, so page 1, page 1, page 1. But for now, I'm going to apply page numbering to everything. And when I generated page labels, I was speaking earlier about digital numbering. That's the important thing. We select to generate page labels. And I'll simply click generate. So now we've made some subtle changes. We've customized our index. I think we've applied watermarking. We've made a few changes, and we simply generate the bundle again. And it's a really easy process. So that's the idea behind it. And this is the real magic in terms of time saving, is that it's very, very easy to redo and whatever. So you can see now this looks a bit better. We've customized our index. You can see I've numbered, I've applied page numbering to my index. I don't have to, but in this case I have, because my first page number is actually the notes of trial, page number 4, because that's the way they want it, and it's superimposed here. So you get the gist of it. So it's really easy to make changes. One other small thing that might be worth noting is the idea of late inserting. Late inserting, you can still append if you want to a document if you've late insert documents, or you can choose a style. If I just give you a very quick idea of, if I upload one document here, and that's going to my report section. We upload it into reports, it's fine. So down in reports, so this notes of particulars has just arrived in, and I'm going to show you how we can add one of the options we have in terms of and I'm going to type in the word late here, I can make this what's known as a late insert document. Now, a late insert document is a big square around it. If I place that right in the middle here of this report, so you have 3.1, 3.2, and 3.5. If I click save, if I click generate, and we just call it version 3 very quickly. This will only take a sec, and we move on to step 5 then. So the idea is that with late insert documents, you can append them and put it back at the end of your bundle, and the pagination will continue on consecutively, or you can place them in the middle of any folder and mark them as late inserts. And the idea is that it creates a sub-numbered document. So if you look here, you can see 1, 2, 2.1, 3, and 4. Now, in this instance, we're not using consecutive numbering on the left-hand side. We've started a page or document number 1 for each new section. So document 2, document 3 is still document 3, document 4 is still document 4, and those numbers haven't changed. And what it has introduced is sub-numbering. So just be aware, you have a whole suite of options depending on the style of late numbering you want to use. So just be aware of that. Step 5, you'll be glad to hear, is the final step. So at this stage, you've produced your bundle. What do you want to do with it? Step 5 is about distribution. So the first thing to note is every time we generate a bundle, we keep a copy. So you can select any previously generated bundle and you can preview it. So I can preview it, I can read it, whatever, that's fine. I can download it to my desktop as a PDF, because that is all we're producing. As I download that, that'll open up as a PDF, which is much the same as all the other guys we produced earlier. You can see there's my PDF. It's bookmarked, it's hyperlinked, it's searchable, it's everything that I need. To the right of that, I can apply a password. Some people want to secure the bundles they've produced, and you can apply a password directly to that bundle. So every time you try and open it, you will have to type in a password. I can also forward this bundle to any third party. Now, when you're forwarding a bundle, and I'll send it to Lisa here. When you're forwarding a bundle, if I can spell, bundledocs.com. When you're forwarding a bundle, what you're doing is you're sending a secure, encrypted hyperlink of the bundle. The key is that you're not limited to the size of the bundle that you're sending. When we traditionally sent it, we always sent it with a password. You'll see there's a password here. When you sent it with a password, it's sent an email. The recipient receives it. They click on the hyperlink. It then sends them an email with a password. They type in the password correctly, and it downloads to the desktop. They don't need any software for this. Now, since COVID and dealing with courts, remove the password. Don't send a bundle to a court electronically as a hyperlink with a password. They just won't open it. And then you can set things like download limits, that the recipient can download it twice. It'll expire on this date. You tell them who you are, and you simply click send, click OK, and that's virtually instantaneous. That's gone now. So if I go back to distribute, if I go back to forward, you can see I've tracked this bundle now under my active download invitations. I can see who I've sent it to. 0/2 says she hasn't downloaded it. She can up to 2 times. If she does nothing about it, it will expire on that date, and we can delete the link, we can stop it. Now, the key is that if Lisa receives and she downloads it, that number will change from 0 to 1. But more importantly, the sender will receive an email of confirmation of receipt. That confirmation of receipt, which is like a registered post, should be stored in Quill or somewhere as proof. Now, the only downside to this is you're sending it from Bundledocs to a third party. If you want to send it from your own work account, and if I remove the password, the button down here, bottom left, if I click on that, it allows me to copy and paste that encrypted, secure hyperlink to my own Outlook account, and I can send it that way as well. But the tracking and everything else is exactly the same. So you can send it either from your own work account, or you can send it from Bundledocs, whatever suits you. So just be aware of that. A few other things to note, because we have about 6 or 7 minutes left. Small things to note that I would mention is you can split bundles. Some courts will ask that you split a bundle into various categories, but they want you to remain the consecutive numbering. So let's say, for instance, we want to split this bundle. Let's say we want to create a bundle with pleadings and correspondence and a separate bundle with reports. I can create what's known as a split line. I can select the last document that I want to create my split on. I go here and I create what's known as a split point. Now, a split point virtually cuts the bundle in two. So if I generate this bundle now, it will produce 2 PDFs. No, the PDFs will be consecutively numbered. They're actually, in fact, really the same PDF, but they're split in 2, and it's index paginated. So if you're dealing with really large stuff and for some reason you have to split those bundles into sub-bundles, you can do that really quickly or easily using split points. Now, I won't go through everything like this, but happy that anybody comes back to us or contacts info@bundledocs.com if you need more information on that. So I'll just remove the split points. Other small things to note, that before I wrap up, there's a little button here. There's a lot of things I can also do with these guys here, allow me to do things with a bundle. And I'll try and briefly explain what each one does rather than generating a bundle every time. You can select various documents. I can select a number of documents here, and then I could say, if I select included here, it's a toggle. It means I'm saying to Bundledocs, the documents I've selected, the next time I generate the bundle, do not include them in the bundle. So I can hide documents. They'll disappear from the bundle. However, the pagination will change because the pages will work up. I can strike out documents. If I select those two documents, I say strike out. What it does is it strikes them out in the index and it removes the actual documents from my bundle. So if I have limited, let's say I want to lodge a bundle in court and they're saying the limit is 300 pages and I want to let the court know that there are other documents in existence, I can strike them out. The court can see they're struck out, but there's no document in the background. So my numbers of pages reduced. My pagination remains static. Hide an index, I can remove documents from the index, but they appear in the bundle. So typically you might fire up, say, email correspondence. You could have 10 emails and you might rename the first email, say, email correspondence from 1st of May to 31st of May, and you'd remove the other guys from the index, but they'd appear as a single, look like a single document, so you can hide. If you hide and strike out, you're removing both the document from the index and the document from the bundle. The effect is you hide them and it doesn't affect the pagination. Late inserts we mentioned. Simpler inserts is where we can just put a document and don't paginate the actual documents. So there's lots of these things that we can do as well. But the final thing I'll mention, a few small things. If I just preview a document, I preview the notes of trial. Over here on the right hand side, there's a whole suite of annotation features built into Bundledocs. We can redact, I very quickly touch on redaction. We can redact, we can highlight, we can comment, but we can also search for content. If I search for a word like trial, it'll find it. I could say if there's multiple occurrences, look for there. If I want to do all documents, I can do that, and it'll simply redact. Now, when I say redact, it's place the redaction placeholder over this text. So just be aware of that. We'll look at that in a minute. Outside redaction, I can highlight things, I can make comments both public and privately, I can stamp documents, and I can also create hyperlinks. The key when you're applying these redactions is if I go back to generate a bundle now, and let me call it version 4, very quickly, I'm watching my time, and if I go down to annotations, with annotations, when you're generating a bundle, you now have the power to switch on or switch off any of these. So you saw me a minute ago, I applied redactions. Now, in this instance, if I'm generating this bundle for the other side, let's say, then I would say to Bundledocs, apply the redactions for this version of the bundle I'm about to produce and remove any highlights and comments that I may have made. If I was generating the bundle for somebody on my side, I'd probably do the opposite. I'd remove redactions, I apply everything else. If I'd added my own private personal comments and notes, whatever, and I'm generating the bundle for myself, then I'd add my own private annotations. If I'm generating for counsel on my side, then I want to apply redactions, but I want to apply them indicatively so they can see through it. So for this instance, I'll apply everything and generate. So you get into the habit of generating a bundle in each instance for somebody. So you must remember who you're generating it for, name it accordingly, and you can show and hide whether they're documents, whether they're redactions or whatever, all in the one workspace. So what I've done there is that I've said, in this instance, I want you to redact whatever I'd highlighted earlier. And quickly to show you that, if I download this guy to my desktop, we'll quickly have a look at that, and I think it was the notes of trial, and I get rid of this guy. And you can see we've burnt it onto it, and when you burn it on, you can't search behind it, you can't see behind it. So in this instance, I've applied it. In the next instance, I could unapply it, so be aware of that. So there's a whole suite of redactions, or a whole suite of annotations built into Bundledocs, be aware of that. And the final thing before I wrap up, I mentioned at the start, templating is really important. You will use templates, you will use custom index. We'll set those up for you, and you can have as many as you want, because the real purpose of templates and custom indexing is to save your users time. The user should just upload their documents, place them in the right order, and as long as the templates are set up correctly, they simply click generate and it'll produce the style that they're expecting. And the final thing that I'll mention before finishing up, we mentioned at the start, when we log into Bundledocs, we can collaborate internally by creating teams. Now, because it's a cloud-based product, it costs you nothing to collaborate externally if you wish. Now, the reason you might want to collaborate externally is, let's say, a taxing master, counsel, whatever. The idea is that rather than sending them the bundle, you can invite them onto the platform to preview or working you with a bundle. Now, when you collaborate externally, the external collaborator does not need a license. It's a free service, but you collaborate on a case-by-case basis. So if I wanted one of you to work with me on woods versus trees, I could edit here on the right-hand side, and under my collaborators tab, I can invite you by simply typing in your email address. I can set a time limit, but the key is that I give you a level of permission, the lowest level being analyst. As an analyst, you have permission to log on to Bundledocs, log on to the woods versus trees case, because that's all you'll see, and you can read the documents. You can't make changes, you can't take away copies, you can do virtually nothing, but you can annotate. If I invite you to the downloader, you get a slightly higher level of permission. You can simply download documents. If I invite you as a contributor, I'm allowing you to work with me. Now, you may not use that as a contributor, so just be aware of that. So in summary, remember Bundledocs, it produces an electronic bundle. We follow the court rulings in terms of numbering. We produce computer generated numbers. We can say pagination starting at page number 1. We produce our indexes, which are automatically hyperlinked and bookmarked. Everything is OCR'd and upload automatically. Orientation, in terms of orientation, if documents appear in landscape, they're left in landscape. If they appear in portrait, they're left in portrait. The default view, remember, you can set that 100% because the courts require that. Optimization is really important. Optimization simply means is reduce the DPI rating of your documents to 300 DPI. So that's all built into the product. But in terms of usability, it's a very simple product. It's a five-step process. Integration is really simple. You can upload your documents directly from Quill straight into Bundledocs. It's just a matter of organizing, generating, and distributing. So that about wraps up our webinar for today. Just a note of thanks for everybody who joined. The key takeaway factor is if anybody wants more information, would like to try the product, or would like to find out more information about it, please do make contact. This is Brian here, but contact us on info@bundledocs.com, and we'd be happy to speak with you or help you through anything. So thanks again for joining, and do take care. Bye-bye.